Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new webcast for New York Market Week. We have a great guest, Sven Ghyselinck, who is CEO of Devan International. He's going to talk about hygiene, female power, designing for women, and Devan's new innovations. Hello, Sven.
Hi, Jennifer. Thanks for having us again here at New York Market Week. This time, this is the digital version, but nevertheless, we wanted to introduce some novelties we developed as Devan and also bring it in the right context for the market and for the different retailers and brands which will roam New York Market Week like every other season. In order to do so, I brought some colleagues with me. Two of them are ladies, Vanessa and Sophie, two lead scientists within Devan, which will introduce you from a technical perspective much more to our novelties. And I would also introduce you Tom Palmaerts from Trendwolves, who is a future trend consultant, which we regularly use to try to foresee as good as we can the next future for textiles. So I hope you enjoy this session.
We will, Sven. But before we start our conversation, let's first take a look at the company Devan, a short introduction video.
Devan is a specialty chemicals company focused on textiles. We service textile companies all over the world. It ranges from intimate hygiene over bedding to apparel, high-performance sportswear to aviation interiors. We work with a group of people to develop new technologies, not only from a development point of view, but also from a testing point of view. We test in our lab as well as in real-time environments, for example, the climate chamber of the Bacala Academy, as well as in real races like Tuscany Road, Tuscany Trail, or other races. Sustainability and environment is one of the key values of our company. When we develop products and materials, we always keep sustainability in mind, not only for our own product development, but also for the use by our customers in their application, as well as for the consumers in their use and in future recyclability.
How's the consumer's thinking around sanitation and cleanliness change during the COVID era, and how can products to address that?
Well, indeed, it goes without saying that the last year has been very impactful on how women, mothers, family members, I think every one of us has been much more involved with cleanliness and hygiene than ever before. I think throughout the world we have been bombarded by messaging that we should wash our hands much more frequent, much more thorough, much longer. So there's an overall much bigger awareness, call it this way, of hygiene and cleanliness. So yeah, in the last year we have seen a much stronger demand for typical hygiene products, call it antimicrobials, call it virus reduction solutions, whatever you would like, to be put on textile, whether it's bed sheets, whether it's pillows, whether it's mattresses, but also on clothing aspects. Beyond the pure textile use, we also see that our antimicrobial solutions and virus reduction solutions are also now implemented on hard surfaces to really offer that extra cleanliness and comfort of mind to the different families.
The pandemic situation has indeed driven us to more hygiene and cleaner textiles. But the increase of use of biocide may also have an impact on the environment. Today we will show that the use of a biocide does not necessarily need to impose an extra stress on nature. Many of you are already familiar with our EPA-registered antimicrobial product Biome, based on a quad-silane technology. Let us zoom in to the life cycle of antimicrobial treated textiles. After production, our Biome product is shipped and used in the textile mill to keep textiles clean and fresh. Compared to metal-based biocides, Biome has a lower impact on nature as the permanent technology does not need a lot of energy in the fixation process and has only a little impact on the wastewater treatment. Therefore, it is no problem to use biome in a zero discharge factory or in combination with natural wastewater treatment. Once the treated article is in use in our households, the antimicrobial treatment will use the need for washing, which has a positive effect on water use and hence on nature. As our biome is a non-migrating technology, it will not leach out during the home laundry and hence pose no strain on the sewage wastewater quality. Looking at the end of life of your textile, did you know that more than 15 million tons of used textile waste is generated each year in the United States, and that this amount has doubled over the last 20 years? Of that waste, only 16% is recycled. The rest is either incinerated or dumped in landfill. Biome poses no extra steps in the recycling program, nor generates metal waste during incineration. Leaching of biocides in the environment during landfill can be significant, but as biome is inherent biodegradable, biome will decompose easily. Biome is not just eco-friendly, it is also a blue sign chemical and Oecotex 100 certified. No doubt something the eco-consumer will appreciate.
Besides the typical hygiene and antimicrobial virus reduction solutions, we also see an increase in our allergen reduction products. People are more and more aware of the importance of a good immunity in their body, and as you well know, in the US, lots of people suffer from allergens and allergies, and we also see a stronger demand for these kind of products. Our Purissimo solution, for example, not only covers for pet allergens, but also has to do with dust mites, and now also increasingly we have very good solutions for pollen allergy.
So Purissimo is a natural solution based on probiotics. Probiotics you may already know from nutritional supplements or dairy products like cheese and yogurt, but they're also frequently found in drinks like kombucha and in other food ingredients like miso, tempeh, kefir, etc. As you probably already know, probiotics can help you to maintain a well-balanced gut microflora, but in fact that's not all they can do. As Sven has already explained earlier, they can also help you in reducing allergen levels in your home environment. Inside your house, the most commonly encountered allergens are originating from pet dander, house dust mites, grasses, and trees. When a certain level of exposure to these allergens has been exceeded, allergy symptoms may arise. The level of sensitivity to these allergens is strictly personal and can therefore vary from one person to another. What many of us do not know, however, is that when you suffer from an allergy, you're most likely not allergic to a single allergen, but to different types of allergens, and that on top of that, the effects of multiple allergens can add up. This means that combined lower concentrations of multiple allergens can also cause you to exceed your symptom threshold and provoke an allergic reaction. By treating textiles with Purissimo, you can significantly reduce the amount of allergens in the indoor environment and thereby decrease your exposure and symptoms and increase your comfort and quality of life.
How much of that change is permanent?
The start of 2021 is the start of vaccination process, but from a global perspective, it will take a year, 2 years until we will all be vaccinated. So it's gonna take some time to go back to normal. But then the question is, indeed, what is that normal? What will remain after the COVID crisis? And if you look at the past, if you look at deep crises on a local level and even on a global level, you always see that at the end people go back to their normal life, but some things changed. There are elements that remains, and it can be that people are getting more tracked, or it can be that people are more focused on cleanness.
Well, to add to Tom's point as well, I think when we look at those at the period we're now in, I think what 9/11 meant for safety, I think this covered pandemic will definitely mean for cleanliness and hygiene. And of course, if your family is all vaccinated, you will probably loosen up much more in your behavior. And even with the friends and families you know who visit you and who you know well, who you trust well, who also have been vaccinated. But think about when you go to a hotel, to a hospitality environment, when you go to certain events, how will you behave then? I believe that the companies in the hospitality world, in the eventing world, will be much more focused on hygiene in a much longer period of time than just the period to get everybody vaccinated. So in how much is it permanent, I do agree with Tom. I think we all hope to go back as quickly as possible to some form of normality with the people we like to have in our bubble, we like to have in our extended bubble. But we all will come to new situations or new environments where I think for a number of years we will have an increased sense of hygienic demand. And that probably will take, 2025 or even beyond. So I think that is an element we should take into our consideration when we develop new collections as well and think about future functionality on hygiene.
Can we talk a little bit about the status of women globally and their purchasing power, Tom?
It's true, the status of women is changing the past years. Few levels. First, education. We see that women are becoming more and more highly educated. For instance, in Emirati, we see that women, 43% of women have a high degree in school. And men, it's only 25%. You see worldwide, women are getting smarter than men. And then it's not only education, it's also truly power. The Spanish government, 2 out of the 3 people in the parliament are women. And actually, in the US, you have the first female vice president. So it's not only that women are getting smarter than men, but also getting more and more power than men.
Is there any difference in the priorities for married women versus single women?
I think you have to know that the idea of a traditional family is changing. And you, from a communication perspective, from a marketing perspective, definitely also from product design perspective, you need to think about this. For instance, the number of singles is rising worldwide. Different cities worldwide now already 50% of our households are existing of one person sometimes with a child, but only one person. So the number of singles is rising. And of course, when you have women that are highly educated, they earn a lot of money and they have power, they will have other things on their mind. The reason why you have so many singles, the driver of change here is first, more and more people are choosing to be single. You have more and more older people, and the society is getting older. But then you also have the number of divorces. So there is a certain period that you again are on your own.
Sven, what are the key issues for women that product developers should keep in mind?
Well, that's a good question. I think it starts with accepting that there are different women segments throughout the world, each with their specific needs. And there's a bit of a resemblance to when I look back at the cycling industry, for example. When the cycling industry discovered women, what you saw was every women's product either contained pink or had to show a flower. As if all women like pink or all women prefer flowers as their most preferred visual. Of course, in the cycling industry, things have evolved, but there's a little bit of resemblance when I look at the home textiles market, where still I do notice quite a high dominance of flower type of patterns, very pastel type of color shading, where I sometimes wonder, well, is that what women all want? Are they not better serviced with a higher functionality, or with more specific women functionality, maybe even women functionality depending on age? Those are things which I think could be improved and will be improved by certain brands and retailers in the coming months and years.
How important is the concept of body positivity and body respect?
Well, body positivity or body respect is undoubtedly a very strong sociological movement that has been going on for now a number of years. I think when you look internationally, you will see that quite a bit of women have abandoned the archetype of skinny models. So as we all know, everybody is shaped differently, and that does not always coincide with how marketing visuals would like us to believe. So in the build-up to this inspiration note, we looked into how various retailers across the entire textile scala is showing women. And you do notice, for example, with H&M, that they are showing models which are much more normal, as you would say. So they show different sizes, they show different ages, they show different colors, which is a much more natural overview of women compared to, well, years ago, or compared to some traditional brands which still show rather young, rather skinny, rather quite perfect models. As we all know, as we grow older, well, unfortunately, our bodies are less perfect than when they're younger. And for some of us, well, our body was never perfect, so we have to live with that, and that's how nature builds us. So I believe it is very important to recognize those realities and to still treasure these realities. And there's nothing wrong with a little bit more size or with a little bit more wrinkle. It's just what it is.
Well, Sven, what do women want? Well, when looking at other markets close to the hearts of women, like for example cosmetics, we see a drive towards traceability, sustainability, and the use of natural ingredients. And that is why at Devan we have developed a platform to micro-encapsulate natural ingredients like fragrances and other revitalizing actives. A few examples are fragrances like citrus and wild mint as part of our new Sentinel range. For these products, we use traceable raw materials, and we can prove that the complete formulation is more than 90% bio-based. If desired, we can also microencapsulate vegan, halal, or kosher certified ingredients. And well, Sven, that is how Devan can help to create highly functional textiles for women.
What are the purchasing triggers around these issues?
With regards to the triggers, consumer triggers, well, there's no single answer to your question. The point, what we believe, is that it goes beyond just fabric or color. We think that that women are much more holistic shoppers, and that currently women are too much reduced to just color and certain fabrics. Probably most likely we could add much more functionality to home textiles and to show them that, for example, by adding a scent or by adding hydration to nurture your body, or by adding our Revital Q10, for example, to prevent further or to reduce the aging effect of your skin, could be a very welcome addition to people's collections. Even in home textiles, we notice that all these functionalities throughout the last couple of years have gradually increased in importance from a consumer perspective and from a consumer selection. So yes, there are different trigger points, and I would rather invite people to think much more holistically than just color and design.
Menopause for many women includes difficulties with sleep. What are the solutions around addressing that?
Well, it's a good question. I think there are two areas where I think textiles, home textiles, could bring an advantage to women in their menopause. As one of the very obvious topics, obviously, are the temperature swings and the hot flashes that menopause women encounter, where obviously very automatic. We think about cooling and moisture management functionality to your home textiles. Think about extra cooling levels, for example, with our biotones of cool on your pillow or on your mattress pad, but also for the high wash requirements of your bed sheets, for example. Our Move and Cool solution could be an interesting combination of a balanced form of moisture management with certain levels of thermoregulation. So those are kind of the obvious go-to functionalities for menopause women with regards to the very sudden temperature swings during the night, but also during the day.
Menopausal symptoms can vary from woman to woman, but sleep issues are very common. Sleep disorders can affect more than 40% of menopausal women, me being one of them. Essential to fall asleep is a lower body core temperature, and during the night it is important to keep the skin and body temperature within certain ranges to get a good restful sleep. Devan offers already different solutions to improve sleep quality based on our microencapsulated phase change materials. These products provide a cool sensation and a long-lasting thermoregulation effect during the sleep process. As there is a push towards sustainability and circularity in home textiles and bedding, we have taken these products to a next level by incorporating phase change materials that are sourced from renewable natural resources. The bio content is proven to be 94% according to USDA certification. The heat storage capacity and mechanism of action is the same as our traditional PCM products, but as an extra, these bio-based ones show lower flammability. Today, we have further expanded the range and have now products available in our Thermic and Tons of Cool brands for both mattress sticking and bed accessories. Sleep issues are a common problem, not only in the menopause. These products will not only help you to relieve the problems, but it will also be a good step towards more sustainable and circular textiles without any addition of cost.
Now, less obvious are the real sleep issues that menopause women encounter during the night. It is very well researched that typically menopause women encounter 5 to 6 disturbances of their sleep during the night. Obviously, they do not always wake up in the middle of the night, but the sleep patterns are less balanced or are less normal, as I would say, compared to non-menopause women. Now, as you can imagine, if you don't have a good sleep during the night, and not just one night, but nights after nights after night, that becomes a very serious issue for these women. And not only when they wake up, but also, well, as it gradually goes on for days in a row, it really becomes a pattern that could affect them during the day as well. From that perspective, it could be interesting to look into sleep promoting functionality in the bedding arena. So things like our vital valerian root with chamomile, which is historically a Central American, Southern American sleep aid, which we have been selling quite well in the US for several years now, could be of interest. Also CBD, which was very much of a hype pre-COVID because of its calmness and its calming inducing effects, could also be very helpful for to add to your pillow or to your bedding products or to your sleepwear. So I believe the most obvious ones are what is cooling and moisture management related, maybe less intuitively, but really important is how can we maintain and how can we install a very good sleep pattern and maintain a sleep pattern. And I think menopause women will be very grateful if they could have these solutions much more.
Indeed, Sven, our first product consists of valerian root combined with a relaxing chamomile scent. The valerian root essential oil is a typical aromatherapeutic that may help to calm down and reduce insomnia. Another ingredient that may help you to relax and sleep better is CBD. In contrast to the aromatherapeutic action of the valerian root oil, CBD exerts its calming effects by interacting with CBD receptors in, for example, our skin. Here at Devan, we have developed our first CBD product in 2019. In the meantime, we have investigated several other synergistic ingredients that can create a so-called entourage effect together with CBD. Ingredients like lavender and CBG can be combined with CBD to boost its effects. Currently, we're also looking to add CBN to our range. For all those CBD-related developments, we use a reliable and traceable US source for which we have performed extensive third-party lab testing.
What are the challenges of messaging around menopause?
Menopause remains a really difficult topic, a taboo topic. Although the numbers, it's incredible. Every day, 6,000 women in the US are reaching the menopause. In UK, 1 out of the 3 women in UK, they already are in menopause. So it's enormous, it's a really big amount of customers.
I agree with Tom, Jennifer. It's indeed, it's not an easy topic to communicate from a marketing perspective. Having said that, like Tom is saying, it's a very specific group, and if you look to how long women are in menopause, it is for a number of years. So it's not just a season where people have those issues. We believe it is something where people really are willing and looking to buy something that suits them to ease their way through that phase in their life. So I can well imagine that online home textile players, for example, make a specific offering and add the right tags to those products online so that they can really cater for that segment. Longer term, probably traditional retail could also step in. I mean, of course, you can make specific messages on your packaging, but the easiest will probably be just with a very well thought out online program supported by social media. So I really would like to welcome all the online players to think with us how to serve the menopause women in a much better way than they are able to get today.
Well, thank you both. I think you brought a lot of insights to this conversation. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having us, Jennifer. I think it was a very interesting session, and well, would like to thank you once more for those interesting questions and this chat. Look forward to speak to you soon again later this year. Bye.
And to everyone who joined us, thank you so much. This will be recorded and posted for later review and to share with people who you think would love to hear more about this subject. Bye.